call the meeting to order. We have Mother Janie here for our invocation and pledge.
Let us pray. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, send down upon those who hold office in this city of McAllister the spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice, that with steadfast purpose they may faithfully serve in their offices to promote the well-being of all people, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Cora, would you call the roll? Oh, wait, no, we got the land acknowledgement. I'll jump right past it. All right, we have a very special guest with us here tonight. We have Chief Batten to do our land acknowledgement.
Well, Mayor and City Council and those from McAllister, just want to say it's an honor for me to be here tonight. And I just want to say just Yako Ki, which is thank you very much for this land acknowledgement. I mean, to me, it just kind of solidifies our relationship and what we're trying to do for Southeastern Oklahoma, and specifically here in McAllister, to see us partner on the airport. I don't know if y'all have been able to go by the library and to see how we're partnering on the library. That's going to be beautiful for the city of McAllister. This Main Street that we had done and partnered together on that. Those are just some of the things that we want to continue to show our support and relationship that we have, our wonderful relationship with McAllister, and looking forward to many more to come. So just Yako Ki, thank you very, very much for that. And I want to read this land acknowledgement. It says the Choctaw Nation Reservation is located within the original homelands of the Caddo and Wichita peoples. The Pawnee and Arikara have ancestral ties here. The Shawnee and Quapaw established settlements in this region during the 1700s and early 1800s, while the Osage and Kiowa visited the area. The Quapaw tribe ceded this land by treaty to the United States before it was later ceded to the Choctaw Nation. Shortly after being the first to endure the Trail of Tears and death, the Choctaw people arrived here, followed by the Chickasaw, who lived among them before moving farther west. Through this acknowledgement, we remember those who came before us, honor the sovereignty and traditions of the native peoples who remain connected to this land, and commit ourselves to respect and partnership with indigenous communities, past, present, and future. And so with that, again, say Yako Ki, I'd like to present you with this flag and see if we can post it. I know we were going to try to post it on a pole. So, thank you very much, Yako Ki. Do you want to do this together or?
Yeah, come on up.
How many Choctaws does it take to make a flag? And the interim city manager. Slam, don't you?
Excellent. Now, Cora, would you call the roll?
Councilman Gilmore.
Here.
Woodley.
Here.
Stone.
Here.
Boatright.
Here.
Beatty.
Here.
Mayor.
Here. And we have a quorum. Now have a proclamation. Whereas the city of McAllister recognizes the historical injustices faced by Indigenous people, particularly the legacy of residential and boarding schools, where thousands of Native American children were forcibly removed from their homes, stripped of their cultures, and placed in institutions with the goal of assimilation. Whereas Orange Shirt Day is observed annually on September 30th in honor of the survivors of residential school and in remembrance of those who never returned home, emphasizing the ongoing effects of history on Indigenous communities. Whereas the city of McAllister is home to citizens of many Indigenous nations, including the Choctaw Nation, Chickasaw Nation, and Muskogee Creek Nation, and recognizes the importance of preserving and celebrating Indigenous cultures and histories. Whereas Orange Shirt Day provides an opportunity for all residents of McAllister to come together to acknowledge this painful history and commit to reconciliation, healing, and building stronger relationships between Indigenous and non-Indigenous communities. Whereas by wearing orange on this day, residents stand in solidarity with Indigenous peoples, raising awareness about the effects of historical traumas, emphasizing that all cultures deserve respect, and demonstrating a commitment of fostering mutual respect and understanding. Now therefore, I, Justin Few, Mayor of McAllister, do hereby proclaim September 30th, 2025 as Orange Shirt Day in the city of McAllister, Oklahoma, and encourage all residents to wear orange on this day to honor the survivors, remember those who were lost, and highlight all cultures deserve respect, and continue to work for the reconciliation and healing. Everybody's got to get front and center today. I didn't get my steps in earlier. All right, now move on to citizens' comments on non-agenda items. Residents may address the council regarding an item that is not listed on the agenda. Residents must provide their name and address. Council request comments be limited to 5 minutes. Have several signed up, some on agenda items. Let's see, we'll start with Larry Crowley. Did you sign on the list or somebody? Oh, no.
I just signed in, that's all right.
Oh, you didn't have anything to comment on? Okay.
I was kind of surprised when you called my name, 'cause I was like,
Okay. Well, in your defense, it does say meeting sign in.
I was looking at this when I was signing in.
Okay, no problem at all. Debbie Leeper?
Oh, well, I can remember the agenda item, but I'm here about the
No, it's
5
5
and
and
6.
6.
Oh, it's 5 and 6,
Yeah,
okay.
so we'll wait.
And then Matthew, is it Matthew?
Yeah.
Yeah,
5 and 6 also?
yes.
Okay. 6, and then Burgess? Sarah Breeze? All right, and everybody else 5 and 6?
Yes.
Okay. All right, if there's no one, then we'll move on to consent agenda. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be separate discussion on these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from consent agenda and will be considered separately. I'm gonna pull item B and item G. Does anybody else have anything to pull? Okay, then I'll take a motion to approve item A, item C through F, and item H through K. Motion, Councilor Gilmore, second Councilor Beatty. Cora, would you call the roll?
Counselor Gilmore?
Yes.
Beatty?
Yes.
Woodley?
Yes.
Stone?
Yes.
Boatright?
Here, yes.
Yes, the motion carries. Item B. Let's see exactly what that was at. That was on our workshop We have it as being adjourned at 12:50, but we had the directors were dismissed at 12:50, and then we adjourned about 3:15. Yep, councils continue the conversation. Motion to approve. Motion, Counselor Beatty, second, Counselor Woodley. Cora, would you call the roll?
Vice Mayor Beatty,
Yes.
Councilor Woodley,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Boatright,
Yes.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, the motion carries. Item G, I'll just be abstaining from. If there's no other discussion, I'll take a motion to approve. Motion, Counselor Woodley, second, Counselor Beatty. Cora, would you call the roll?
Councilor Woodley,
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Boatright,
Yes.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Mayor.
Abstain. All right. We go ahead. Oh, and the motion carries. Tell me off. All right, we'll move on to a public hearing. All persons interested in any ordinance listed under scheduled business shall have an opportunity to be heard in accordance with Article 2, Section 212B of the City Charter. Tonight we have two. We have an I-1 light industrial ordinance, and then we have an A1 to RB1. Take a motion to go into public hearing. Motion, Counselor Beatty, second, Counselor Stone. Cora, would you call the roll?
Vice Mayor Beatty,
Yes.
Councilor Stone,
Yes.
Boatright,
Yes.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Woodley,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, and the motion carries. We're now in a public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to comment on the I-1 light industrial district? Seeing no one, is there anyone that would like to comment on the A1 to RB1?
I think there are a lot of us on that section, but we've been told maybe to talk about
You
four
want
and
on items
five,
5 and 6?
5 and 6, yeah.
Okay. Okay, having no one, we'll take a motion to close the public hearing. Motion, Counselor Gilmore, second, Counselor Boatright. Cora, would you call the roll?
Councilor Gilmore,
Yes.
Boatright,
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
Woodley,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, the motion carries. Now on to scheduled business, item 1, discussion only regarding the creation of a community advisory board. This is something a couple of us have been talking about. We know we have items like homeless issues and a way to kind of bring the community together. We know we have services. How do we bring business owners and services together to try to give us some guidance on how we move forward? That way we don't kind of get stuck in a bubble and we kind of go one way or another, and we don't make something so loose that our business owners are affected, but then we don't make things so harsh that we're removing people's dignity at the same time. And so kind of wanted to put that forward just to see what you all felt like, if you all would like an advisory board that would help us out. I think kind of along that lines, Councilor Gilmore was telling me today he had some information on a homeless count.
I do, and I want to say that I think this is an excellent way to go, as we as a city are taking a proactive approach to a problem that we all see. Over the last couple of weeks, I had a friend of mine with Humanity 918 do a physical head count of individuals that we have in our city that are sleeping on the street on any given night. And that number physically counted was 55, plus some that they know more is out there, but they couldn't come into contact with them. So I think as a city, we can partner with these people that are doing great work in our city, like Humanity, SSVF, Compassion 365, and other organizations, and make sure this thing is equitable, so we have somebody at the seat of the table that has a bit of expertise in this area. And we can look at this problem and make a good shot at rectifying the situation in our city. So I think this is an excellent thing for us to do. We need to be sure that people have a seat at the table, yes, but we also need to be sure that we maintain the dignity of our unhoused neighbors.
You know, we've been having a lot of success with working with these organizations. Just an example, my friend Stacy's right there with Cree Oaks, and I'll call her out on it. But we had an individual downtown that didn't have a shirt or shoes and was kind of in and out of businesses, wasn't really being disruptive, just kind of looking for a place to sit down. And I reached out to Cree Oaks, and they sent a team over and tried to help address any needs that he had. And I think that's the way that we could try to address bringing the businesses and the individuals and the compassion all together at the same time, and see how we can help people get them back on their feet. I know I've heard stories with Compassion 365 where they took somebody who was homeless, had them get a background check, and help them get employed at the same time. And so bringing all those services together, I know when John was doing some town halls a while back, I was really shocked about how you had all these service members in the crowd, and they were literally standing up going, I need your phone number. I know somebody, I can help you. I have this service I can help you with. And I mean, it was just over and over. So we really need to connect all of those services and everyone in the community. So if you all think that's a good idea, then we'll kind of put that together on the next agenda and try to move forward with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Any further discussion? If not, we'll move on to item number 2, discussion on monthly financial update. Ms. Swift? I tried to get them to get a handheld mic, and you could have done it from there, but.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, I'm going to present to you our financial update for the ending of the month of August 2025. These reports you're used to seeing. As we go along, if you have any questions or need more clarification, just let me know. And one of the things that we just to give you a heads up too is, over the years, we've kind of added things to this report as we've gone. And as you guys have asked questions or, wanted to see more information or less information, but anyway, it's gotten to somewhat of a large report. But last week when we did our audit and finance committee meeting for the month, we kind of presented to them this same report that we always do. And then we have a new version of that report that we also presented, and wanted their opinions about the way that it looks. It was very clean. It was very, it was a little bit more graphics or whatever. But anyway, it took the same information and made it a little bit more professional looking and so forth. But we kind of hope that we would bring that rendition to you in the next month, and then actually, see your thoughts. But it went very well with audit and finance, and with give and take on a few things and things that we're going to take out of here. And anyway, the gist of it is that you're going to see something different next month that we hope that you like, and that going forward will be a little bit less paper that we have to hand out. So, with that being said, so as of the summary for August, that's being 16.67% of the year complete. Your general fund at a glance, revenues are just shy of that 16%, so we're sitting at 15.60. Our expenditures at 16.16, and basically we're at a shortfall right now of $377,000 when it comes to the general fund. MPWA fund at a glance, revenues at sitting at 16.10, and expenditures at 11.12. Doing fairly nice on MPWA. Your next slide is the general fund. This is total revenue that we've brought in our budget for the month of August, or for each month, is $1,482,000, and we were just shy of that by 10,000. So for the month of August, we brought in 1.472, and this is all sales tax, any kind of revenue that we're bringing to the city. Next slide is our pie chart that we break that down into what pieces of that goes to the general fund, what piece of it goes to our bond debt, the TIF, DWSRF projects. This is our dedicated funds and what those percentage of those total revenues are, putting in those boxes there for us. The next slide is our fiscal year percent difference, to date for sales tax. Again, it reiterates what we're brought in. This is a little bit more comparison. It has, from 2020 and up, it shows what our total revenue actual was and the previous year. So it shows you how we've grown. And obviously last year we didn't have the best, so we had a 2.22% shortfall. But so far, with total sales tax, we're still not doing so bad there. The next slide is another way that we're looking at, based on our population. Where does McAllister sit as far as population rank? We'll just give you the 5 below us, the 5 above us, and how we rank as far as tax-wise, population, and the taxes per capita there. On our population, we rank it at 30. Another way to look at on the next slide again is sales tax for July and August, showing you what our difference is compared to last year. So the difference on this being the 7,221 compared to the same time last year. Again, we're still talking sales tax, so it's just a different way that we're looking at things. This is comparison for the fiscal year 2025 and fiscal year 2026 on sales tax, how you can see the graph showing how we have increased the same period. Our next slide is when we look at the sales tax, we're always looking at the next, which is the sectors, which is what type of sales taxes is coming into our community. Retail trade is always our largest, and then it breaks it down with those percentages for you.
Do we track when we're off in a certain category?
So that's one of the things that we we are going to kind of present it in a different way in another report that we present. So we're going to actually kind of see which pieces are going up and down. Exactly.
Oh, I thought they categorized the categories.
Well, I think the next report that we kind of show you, you'll really enjoy, like the way that we present it to you. So it's going to be
We can target where our loss is or where.
Mm-hmm. The next one, again, we're looking at still looking at sales tax. We're looking at five cities above and below McAllister with a lot of the stuff in before was total revenue. This is just simply with our sales tax for so far for the first July, August combined there, and our population is sitting at 18,000. And how this rates our total tax rate. This obviously doesn't include the county's piece of this. Let's see. The next two, again, I will jump over to the one that you have on the compound annual growth. I think this is kind of interesting. I kind of shown this as a year comparison from 2025 from 2005 to 2025, and you'll see how the growth that we've had over those last years. And I think that graph is really shows a big difference. I mean, shows how we have made those changes, and then unfortunately right now this year we're compared to last year we're pretty flat. But hopefully with things moving in and things changing here soon, we should see an increase in that growth. The next slide is the 2% general fund. This is what we operate the city on. And we met our budget for this particular month, $791,000, and we brought in 793. This is after everything, all our dedicated taxes are allocated, after we've set aside our TIF, after we've done everything that we have, this is what is left, that we operate the city with. The next one is general fund. This is our use tax, and after this is, I mean, it's basically the same kind of information that we've had that I'm reporting on the sales tax as far as use tax. Use tax is very difficult to hone in on or to identify where we have those changes, but there are some additional reports that will pull and be able to identify a little bit better for us. For the month of August, we haven't met budget. We're sitting at $161,000, and we've only brought in $131 for the month of August. Use tax, again, these next ones are the same reports, just identifying how we have broken those down, comparison. The comparison between 25 and 26, seeing that decline. We're hoping again, as things are moving into the community, we're gonna see movement, and seeing those graphs, those lines moving the opposite direction, so. Again, breaking down into sectors, how that is, that retail trade obviously is still, our biggest generator, and for use tax as well. The 5 up and 5 below with our tax, with the use tax. Tax rank on use tax, we're sitting at 39. You'll also note up to the side of this, I've kind of marked through, we had 8.25 there, and I've made contact with Oklahoma Municipal Services. It's an error on their part, so it's a stagnant number. It doesn't change any of the numbers. It's not calculating differently, but I do wanted to make note that it shouldn't be 8.25. It should be the 8.50.
Moving the approach of the county tax rate.
And then jump over, I guess, skip, again, compared to the population rank, same reports. That we have a sales tax, and then you'll see on the compound growth, annual growth rate, 2020, or 2005 to 2025. And you'll see how that has also increased each and every year, just about, with this year being slightly below, and how we've compared based on our population ranking. The next slide is MPWA revenues. This is water sales at the top with residential and commercial. We met, let's see, 322,000 is what, after all of the billing was completed on August. For water sales, it's below the last 2 years. I would probably contribute that to a lot of our rain in the wet season that we've encountered. The water districts and wholesale, slightly below the last 2 years as well. One shining part of this report is our hotel motel tax. Next, for the month of August, we brought in 94,000, which is our second highest in the last 3 years. So that's really showing progress there for us. We still have a few hotels that are behind on some payments, but we're doing our due diligence and working with the state to capture those.
Is there a
funds.
particular event on that made that spike?
No. Probably, but I don't have anything backing that I'm aware of.
Some of the retail opening
that alludes to it. Just saying, just saying.
The next slide that you have, is our TIF. This is the current TIF that we have, with the shopping centers. Let you know exactly where we stand, and what is our, estimated payoff, and what our estimated portion of that coming from the county is. So we still look at, our April date being our star month that we anticipate getting that paid off, so that's really good for us. Finally, we have our treasurer's report. This is our bank accounts. This lets you know what we have, in our pool of cash, and those balances on each one of those, bank accounts that we have. So,
Not really, getting off topic a little bit, but what would our estimate for this month be on what our bond payment was out of this?
our bond payment is for, this month it's $487,000.
To kind of explain a little bit, we had a meeting the other day, and so how that, we've got the 4 bonds, and we're paying through, well, the first one, is it 26 or 27 that pays off first?
27.
Pays off in 27, then that portion for that bond is set over for a balloon payment. And so we're paying these 3, and then that balloon payment hits. When we pay off the second one, the money that was going for the first one, the money that was going for the second one, they're all set over here for the balloon. We hit that second balloon, and we do that for the third, we do that for the fourth. So, and that way, well, I think there's more balloon payments than that, but as those pay off, that money's set aside, and then we run through 2034.
Yes.
And so we looked at some different options. If there was a way of, hey, do we have revenue that's available once those pay off? But the answer was no, that's set aside for balloons.
Right. Sure. Hate to say that scary number, but
It is, yeah.
With inflation and everything with the cost of goods, obviously that makes sales tax go up. With the TIF paid off, what do you anticipate? I mean, is that $1 million a year, 1.2? I've kind of heard different.
It's just a little over $1 million a year. Yeah.
You already got it spent?
No. I do not.
No, I
No,
mean,
you might. I do not.
Can't always tell if I can't spend it before we have it. Allocated, do you have it allocated yet?
I do not. That's a tricky question.
Ken does. All right, any questions on financials? Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item number 3, discussion possible action to authorize interim city manager to complete the sale of property and building to Krebs Brewery and at the agreed upon conditions outlined with the OK Department of Commerce letter dated 17 June 2025. Mr. Sunday.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, and Mr. Weimer. What you have before you tonight is a purchase and sale agreement between Krebs Brewing Company and the City of McAllister for the sale of a 12.3 acre tract of land located inside the Stephen Taylor Industrial Park, where Krebs Brewing Company currently houses its operations. This transaction is a result of Krebs Brewing exercising its option to purchase the property early under a 2017 lease agreement. So due to this project being partially funded with a community development block grant, the city was required to reach out to Oklahoma Commerce for the approval of the sale. Your packet contains that approval, which was given, as the mayor stated, on June 17, 2025, in a letter from Kellen Dixon, the director of the CDBG Programs Planning. So staff is requesting that you consider and approve a motion to authorize the interim city manager to complete the sale to Krebs Brewery based on the agreed upon conditions outlined in the attached documents.
And to confirm, that was all outlined in the original lease, that they could buy the lease out and purchase the property and all that, so we're just executing terms of the lease.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Any questions? Motion to approve. Motion, Councilor Gilmore, second Councilor Boatright. Corge, call the roll.
Counselor Gilmore,
Yes.
Boatright,
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
Woodley. Yes. Stone.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, the motion carries. Now move on to item number 4, discussion of possible action to approve the ordinance of the City of McAllister, Oklahoma, amending McAllister City Code, Section 62-266, I-1 Light Industrial District, repealing all conflicting ordinance and providing for severability. Ms. Clifton.
Good evening, council. This ordinance amendment that's in front of you now is the result of a rezoning application that was brought to council in July, and it was remanded back to planning commission to further define auto wrecking. So staff looked at, auto wrecking, which is, the rules, and, it's regulated and licensed through Oklahoma Department of Public Safety and Oklahoma Corporation Commission. So we just borrowed some definition, in their rules, and that's what's included in here as a permitted use in the I-1 district. Planning Commission reviewed this and recommended approval at their September 16th meeting, and we just ask that you also approve this ordinance.
Excellent. Any discussion? Motion to approve. Motion Counselor Beatty, second Counselor Boatright. Corr, would you call the roll?
Vice Mayor Beatty,
Yes.
Counselor Boatright,
Yes.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Woodley.
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, the motion carries. All right, item number 5, discussion of possible action to approve an ordinance amending the general zoning ordinance and accompanying map thereto, known as General Zoning Ordinance number 1843, by changing the classification and zoning district for part of the north half of section 20, township 5 north, range 15 east of the Indian Basin Meridian, Pittsburgh County, state of Oklahoma, from A1 agricultural district to R1B single family residential district.
Okay, this one, considerable amount of it is in the packet, so I'll try not to get too much into it. But this one is the Wallace Meadows. There's proposed density of 5.34 units. The notices were sent on this initially on August 1st and August 2nd. There was an error that was found, so we renoticed it roughly about 20 days later. And so Planning Commission did not hear it at their August meeting. So we renoticed all that, corrected it, sent it out, and then they considered it at their September 16th meeting. There were a lot of concerns that were expressed by some of these surrounding property owners about the higher density, a desire to keep the development on a similar large lots and the uncertain water supply for the development project. The A1 is a default district when there's property annexed into the city, and so that's how it likely is, the A1. The property owner would like to develop the property in a much smaller density than the half unit per acre. The utilities, we've had discussions with the water districts, and also the PSO spoke with Glenn Smith, and he said that it would be adequate. But mostly overall, we feel that this is aligned with the vision of the comprehensive plan. When it defines the conservation open space, it talks about the low density of 4 units per acre. Our land development code's a little bit out of line with that. However, the overall development here, they're asking, to build 5.34. The zoning, if it was changed from A1 to R1B, just the zoning alone would only allow one dwelling structure on the 38 acres unless it was divided, which is another application. This right here is just for the zoning for single family residential, to change that from the A1 to R1B so that future development, housing development could occur. Planning Commission did review this at the September 16th meeting, and they did vote unanimously to approve the applicant's rezoning request, and we just asked the same. I'm sure you have people here to speak. So.
Yeah. Is that the edge where the color is on the map on here? Is that the edge of city limits?
Yes, that's correct.
So all the kind of cream colored without designation, that's county area?
Yeah, the southern boundary of this parcel is the edge of city limits.
Okay. Perfect. That's what I mean.
Any other questions for me or wait?
Yeah, we'll take public comment
Okay,
real quick
thank
and
you.
call you back up. All right, Danielle Taylor? You'll give us your name and address?
Sure, Danelle Taylor, I'm the successor trustee for a trust property at 592 East Randazzo Road. which is just south of this property.
Oh, okay.
And, I think I'm speaking for a lot of the out of city limit as well as in city limit people as well, that have property. And we have concerns about the water, the traffic on the road, the lot and home size, as well as how the plat is laid out for the houses. I just wanted to go into some of those items if I could, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, the first one is the water. In the packet, it was said that they would have access to a 6-inch water line that runs on the east side of Peaceable Road. They do not. That is rural water number 5. They have reiterated over and over again to me, including today, that this development would not have access to rural water number 5 at all.
So you want, that's correct.
Yeah.
It's because they are de-annexing that property to the city.
Right,
They're
and the
actually
city
working-
the city
they're
would
working-
be responsible, right?
That's right, yes ma'am, that's
Yes.
correct.
And also that they would be concerned about using the, Carl Albert Water Tower located behind the cinema, for this development as well. Because they have a legal requirement for 24 PSI of water pressure to the homes. And if this water tower was used, for that development, then all the other people, using out of that water tower would no longer have the correct pressure.
Yeah, our city engineers are working that.
Okay.
They both, the utilities manager
Mhm.
and contract engineer that we have both looked at that and are making recommendations for that whole process of getting water.
So for how the city of McAllister could do it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so with the commercial development that's taking place in between, I guess, north of Tanglewood and in between the highway and Peaceable, you have that piece. As well as the proposed data center in Kiowa, Oklahoma, which would take upwards of 5 million gallons of water per day. And this development, how do you see making sure that the entire city, as well as all the rural water people who take their water from the city, are still gonna have enough pressure?
Our city engineer, the contract engineer, has actually met with OWRB this week, met with them on Monday, and has been working with them on expanding our water rights out of Lake Eufaula. So we are looking at what it's gonna take to upgrade the Coal Creek pump station, put in the necessary lines to supply Kiowa, as well as the necessary additional requirements that we may have for new subdivisions.
Let's see. I'm familiar with some of the data centers in Texas that are, I'm sure did their due diligence as well, and they are lacking water. They have no water pressure in some of these, local houses, and we're very concerned that that's gonna happen to us. So I just wanna make sure that it's understood that you agree that rural water number 5 will not
That's correct.
have anything to do with
They are
it,
de-annexing.
nor will they use the water tower.
I don't have specifics on the water tower, that's still being looked at by the engineer.
Okay, because I've been made to understand that the de-annexing would be a difficult road to follow if the water tower is going to be used. So
Is Carl Albert, is that ours or theirs?
that's yours. Yeah.
We actually have been in contact with a contractor to look at our water towers to increase the pump capacity in the towers. So all of that is being taken into consideration as part of this de-annexation process. How
So-
we run that.
So what is the timing for the some of these? So would you be doing this in stages so that we can be assured that, like, the commercial development is gonna have enough water, and then the data center, and then this development, do we know how that's being done in stages?
To speak on the data center a little bit, part of how that's
Uh-huh.
not gonna be treated water, so it'll be a completely different
Mhm.
system. And
Okay.
so for our current water system, we have all of Lake McAllister, but also as backup, we have Cal 1 and 2.
Oh,
Yeah, and so all of the data center water would come out of our Coal Creek pump station, which is completely separate system.
So we still, but on timing, do we know about, like, about how long it's going to take to do, like, the commercial development versus this development?
The one by Tanglewood, is that?
Yeah, well, yeah, that whole strip of land in between the highway and Peaceable, and then,
Do you know timing on all that?
No, I don't, I have to get with you to find out the exact
Exact timing on it?
time. They're both out of town today, so.
okay. Well, I guess we'd feel a lot more comfortable knowing that, okay, the commercial development is happening, it's got enough water, and then, you know, will we have enough water for the rest of the everything as well? Let's see.
Yeah, and definitely, and I know you all look at it, we supply 5 or 4 rural water districts. 5 rural water districts plus the city, and it's definitely something we take very serious, even with, talking about the data centers of, and I believe that's one thing which we basically just have a little bit of an understanding of, yes, we would go forward with this project and those conversations, but part of that is city has to come first. If we have a drought and things are drying up, data center doesn't get water before the citizens do.
Okay, that was also something I was wondering about, thank you. The next section was the lot and home size. In the packet that we were given at the planning commission, it was talking about the fact that, the distinguishing difference is the lot size requirement of 2 acre minimum. So we're going from a 2 acre minimum in that area to 5.34 houses per acre. So as you can imagine, that is a really huge difference for that neighborhood. We're talking about 203 houses at 2 cars per house, potentially, 400 more cars on the road every day. So we're really concerned about the traffic on the road, especially as you are going in and out of the city limits. Because if you're going north into the city limits, you're coming up over a hill, and as you crest that hill, you can't see anybody coming out of those developments where the actual roads that exit that development are placed on the plat. So we would ask that you consider, when it comes to the plat discussion, that at least 2 of those roads on the southern end of that development be closed off, so that, and traffic rerouted onto the north side, because no one's gonna be able to stop, regardless of how slow you're going. You know, people are carrying cattle to market, they're carrying hay, they're just coming up over it. No one's gonna be able to see us coming, and we're not gonna be able to see people turning out onto the road either. And it's no place that you can put a stop sign, because in bad weather, you're gonna slide back down, or you're gonna have people carrying cattle that are gonna try to stop, and you know how that can be a mess. That could be a newsworthy item once you have cattle everywhere, so. Have y'all talked about how that traffic would impact that road, or?
I spoke with the county commissioner for that area this morning, and that's the first time he had brought it to my attention.
Yeah.
So we have not had any internal discussions with the developer on that at this point.
Okay.
But having him come to talk to me about it, it's now an item to discuss. Obviously, we don't want to put anybody at risk. So if there's a way to plan it differently, then we'll work with the developer on coming out with the best solution. I don't want anybody to feel like the city is forcing them to come over a hill and run into somebody just because we place a driveway or an entrance there, so.
Understand, but the way that way that it's drawn now, that's gonna, you know.
I understand.
Yeah.
So it's something that was just brought to our attention.
Right.
And obviously, we'll look at it based on that safety consideration.
Well, and then also about the lot and home size, I mentioned the fact that, you know, even in this, it talks about how it's 2 acre minimum. And it says that, that requirement greatly hinders the single family residential subdivision that has been applied for. But then it talks about, the R1B single family residential district, let's see, it's 4 acres, currently out up to 9. A1 and R1A are 0.5 units per acre, but this is now, then you also have something like a suggested 4 units per acre, but this is 5.34. And I expressed at the planning commission that, you know, it doesn't sound like much maybe to you all, but to us, that's putting a lot of houses that used to be 0.5 per acre, and now we're talking about 5.34. To us, this doesn't really fit in with the suburban feel of that area. And, you know, we're concerned about all the impacts, that brings to the area as well. So we just ask that you consider that, because it obviously doesn't fall in line with the, I don't know if it's rules or regulations or whatever your classifications are for property, in the city, but it's being changed to accommodate this development. So, we're concerned about that. We don't understand why would it be changed for this development when there's already a requirement in place for 0.5 per acre, which would be, what, one house for 2 acres? So, that's our concern. I mean, do we have any understanding why we would move to that without considering the current look of the neighborhood and the feel and the?
Well, I mean, part of, as our growth continues, areas where we can build a lot of houses, and I'm not saying that everything's gonna come to fruition, but if some of the projects come together, I mean, we could be talking about another 1,000 jobs in the community, and we've gotta have places to put people.
Understood, but I think, are most of these jobs, would be in the restaurant, store, I mean, are these?
No,
what
that'd
type
be, the bulk would be industrial type jobs,
Industrial jobs, I see.
good paying.
Well, I think the understood was, the standing was for this development, it was, older people who want to downsize and not have as much of a yard, and also first-time home buyers. So you're talking about 25% of the houses are gonna be around 1,350 square feet with no garage. So you're talking about 50 of the houses are gonna be of that type. And those are the first ones that are gonna be built. And then if you look at the plat, the lots are 50 by 90 feet, so 4,500 square feet. And the larger lots aren't much bigger than that. So they're all going to be very small houses in that area. And very densely packed as well. So we're concerned about that. So that's our big concerns, right? Hitch?
Flooding.
What?
Flooding.
Flooding. I guess there's also 4 retention ponds, and I think that's where some of the runoff water is going to be going. I guess there's some concerns whether or not those would be sufficient to hold water, and where does it go if it floods over the retention pond? Does it go into the streams and creeks that in that area, or back into the city sewer system? So I'm assuming that these are all going to have sewers and not septic systems, correct?
Yeah, these are sewer, correct.
Okay, right, okay.
These are sewer. And as far as the stormwater, it'll all be stormwater management. I don't know where that empty tube, does it turn down to, I don't know what the creek is, that might take over. Does it kind of flow down that way?
So if we had to pull up the stormwater map to look at it.
And we understand development happens, you know, I think we would all be much more comfortable if it kept to the 0.5 per acre, because that's how that area was developed. That's what I can remember at this time, but we just ask that you please consider that, because I think it's gonna have more of an impact than we actually think, and right now, there's still questions about water and, the traffic. And I guess it's very difficult for us to understand the process of when you're not sure about how all those things are gonna come about. Why would we rezone now when we might not have a solution for quite some time to come for water? So thank you very much for your time.
Appreciate your comments. All right, Ms. Burbine?
Can I make one comment
Oh,
real quick?
yeah, go ahead.
When considering the rezoning, we're talking about land use in general, not development specific. So the subdivision plat would be development specific, but the rezoning would be the land use in general. And I'm sure City of Raleigh will help with that as well.
So that is correct in the nebulous sense that we're only concerned with land use. It's 43-103, Title 11 Oklahoma State Statutes, paragraph B, if I'm correct. Identifies 8 factors that you are to determine, you should consider when approving land use applications. One of which is whether the property can be adequately served by schools, parks, water, sewer, and various other public infrastructures. So while the particular needs of, say, a 12-inch line or a road base of 3 inches or the like is not before you, whether this property can be served by utilities, schools, and like is a valid consideration when you make a zoning decision.
Ms. Fairweather?
Good evening, Mayor, City Councilors. Stephanie Mervine, 817 East Comanche Ave, McAllister. So I'm in support of this single-family residential district and support of Curtis Woods over there. It comes down to growth. And I, as you all know, in economic development for the Choctaw Nation. So, I mean, one of the things that I wrote down is that it's really hard to have things both ways. You've got to give a little to get a little, and I do believe that this is a positive thing for our communities. We need places for people to live. I've only been here 2 years. I know the limits of, just affordable single-family housing. And so I hope that everybody can understand the retail growth that's coming here. It's all good. I mean, a lot of these people are coming up from Texas, spending their money, they're leaving, but we do need people to be in this community too. So I'm in 100% support of this. So.
Thank you. Joe Randazzo?
Just a couple of things.
Would you give us your name and address real quick?
Name is Joe Randazzo. What did you say now?
Address.
My address is 199 East Randazzo Road. Right across the road, right next to the fence, right across from his fence. The house is going to be right down my fence road. And the water, sir, is going to run right over my property. Run off. And the sewer will go over. And it will come right down on top of me. And lady, with all due respect, where'd she go?
I'm right here.
You're not the one giving. So you said everybody had to give a little bit to get a little bit?
If we could
You know
have your
what we're
address,
getting?
sir.
That's
I
right.
need you to,
We're
I believe in growth.
getting,
Excuse me,
so
sir.
we are
Sir.
getting nothing, lady.
I need you to approach, speak to
So,
council, sir.
no, well, I'm done. I'm done with that part. But I'm concerned that your sewer line was gonna go right down on my property because that's steep. And the water dumps on top of me. Now, as far as that road is concerned, if you go look, in 1870s, federal government passed a law that said that there are farm-to-market roads. And you built your streets with federal money. Now that fellow back there said he was gonna put stop signs on that road and stop the traffic. That's wrong. He can't even put a no truck sign on that road because it's already been tried. I know they tried to stop the trucks. You do not monkey with a farm-to-market road built with federal money. So, your traffic problem is not gonna be solved with stop signs. That's not the way it's gonna work. And you're not gonna put a no truck sign down through there neither. This is old time stuff. Been there forever. Cause I watched y'all try to put a no trucks on that concrete road that you got through there. But it turned out that you built it with federal money. Because that is a farm to market road into that town. And you can't stop it. So it's be to your advantage to stop and think a little bit and to understand what you're up against. I mean, there is some things, sir, that's just not exactly right about this. Another thing, a legality thing. My property is right across the fence from this. I have yet to get a registered letter, and it's the law that I get one. And don't send me one now. I wish you would, but don't do it now. This thing wasn't done right to start with. That little bitty sign that y'all put up, half of it not even legible and the other half wrong, That little bitty sign is against the law. You broke the law doing that. Now, there's some legal stuff that is very, very touchy here. Because I know I've got a lawyer looking into some of the stuff that was done. We were not notified in time. We were not notified before. We were not told. We had to find out on our own by a sign that you couldn't hardly read that was laying flat on the ground. Legally wrong, sir. You might ought to have looked at some of the things you've done. It's not been done right.
Thank you. All right, Madison Brock?
No comment.
I just thought it was a sign-in.
Oh, I got you.
Sorry.
We might need to change that to comment sign in. We're getting everybody tonight. Debbie Leeper?
Debbie Leeper, 65 Leeper Lane. I live out that direction, have been all my life. Don't know any place else. My biggest concern, of course, is the same as ditto to the nail. The water and then the safety concern of them pulling out onto the road. We're not used to having that many detail. And the other thing is the houses right across the street on the other side of Peaceable are 2-3 acre lots. And I'm sure they're upset because it's gonna devalue their property. And that's what I'm worried about. Thank you.
Matthew Leeper?
No comment at this time.
Okay, thank you. All right, council comments. Ms. Clifton, can you address the notice comment?
Mr. Randazzo's was not picked up from the post office. We received both of them back. The other one I received yesterday, the second notice that was mailed. There is a mailing log inside of your packet that shows every article that was mailed, and the property owners that are mailed those notices come from the abstractor's report. This is a licensed and bonded abstractor that provides the property owners within 300 feet. The mailing log is signed by the postmaster at the post office, and they do verify every article that is placed in the mail that is put into the mail to be mailed, so they were sent.
Has there been any discussion on the road portion on that comment as far as traffic flows and?
Not specifically the traffic. We did look at some of the traffic with the subdivision plat, the subdivision review committee, but the size of the road.
That's more item number 6 though, isn't it?
Yes, that is more item number 6,
Okay.
but we did feel that the road was adequate as far as like lane use and generally because of the width of the road and how it's built out. If it was built with federal dollars, it probably is more significant than some of our other streets in the city of McAllister. We do have a lot of those. McAllister's been a benefit of a lot of federal dollars, to build out our streets a lot bigger than most.
So the question is is do we want to rezone it from agriculture to R1B?
That's correct.
Okay, and then we'll talk about the plat next time.
Yes.
All right, any further discussion? You have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion, Counselor Beatty, second, Counselor Boatright. Cora, would you call the roll?
Vice Mayor Beatty?
Yes.
Counselor Boatright?
Yes.
Gilmore?
Yes.
Woodley?
Yes.
Stone?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes, and the motion carries. All right, now we'll move on to item number 6. Discussion and possible action to approve a final plat for Wallace Meadows subdivision and authorize the mayor to sign the documents. Ms. Clifton?
Okay, this is, for the final plat, I think I've got the right one in front of me here. So this is for 203 buildable residential lots. There's 205 on there. 2 of those lots is for stormwater, retention. This is 38 acres total. We have looked at this with, the subdivision review committee in July, and that included the city manager, planning department, engineering, also the health department, and some of our other directors, public works. And then they did, approve that application and asked that it would go ahead and move forward as a preliminary plat. That was presented to the planning commission on August 19th, and they did approve that preliminary plat and recommended to go ahead and move forward with the final plat, and that's what you now have in front of you. The planning commission did look at this final plat at their meeting on September, it was the 16th, and they did recommend approval of this. And again, this is some of the same information that has been provided to you before. It is the 5.34 structures per acre. There were some concerns as far as this development. Again, it was the control of increased traffic on Peaceful Road, the impact on water and electricity, appropriate drainage, the tax revenue that would benefit a different school than McAllister. But the planning commission and staff did clarify that utilities would have to be adequately engineered. Drainage runoff is regulated by the state's DEQ, because they would be subject to the stormwater permit, that most large developments would have to do. So they would have to show that the post flows equal the pre-flows, and so that they're not putting water off on other properties. But we do recommend approval of this final plat, and just along with the planning commission. So,
Mr. Wood, do you want to come up?
Ms. Clifton, I have a question and I need some clarification on here.
yes, sir.
Was the preliminary plat ever brought to council?
The preliminary plat was not. The preliminary plat, from what I understand, goes to planning commission. They review that, and then the final plat is planning commission and council.
We'll come back to that because I'm concerned about that. As a general matter, does the proposed plat, whether it be preliminary or final, does it comply with the subdivision regulations?
Yes.
Mayor, the reason that I've asked those two questions, start with the second one first. Plat approval is mechanical. If it complies with the subdivision regulations, the city has no discretion. It must approve the plat as presented, if it meets regulations and zoning codes. It indicates that, yes, those things are established, so the city doesn't have the ability to deny it if those things are met. Mike, the reason I ask about the preliminary plat, presumptively these roads don't exist yet.
That's correct.
My concern is that if we approve the final plat as is, we are accepting roads that don't exist. They become our responsibility. So I would say if we're going to approve the final plat, it sounds like since it meets the planning regulations, we have to, that we not accept the roads until they're actually built and verified that they meet city standards, which means they will not be maintained by city crews. City crews will not go out there until we have been accepted at a second vote.
So we need to.
Any approval of the final plat as presented tonight would be subject to the roads and various public infrastructure are not accepted until they can be subsequently approved by the council as being consistent with city standards.
So is that how you would motion it, or wait and do preliminary?
I think it's a better practice to do preliminary, come to council, but we are here, I think we can do a final plat. The plat would need to be embossed somehow that the roads are not the city's responsibility, the various public infrastructures are not the city's responsibility until later council votes on that matter.
Can we accept this as a preliminary plat?
We can accept it as preliminary, that will tell the developer that he can move forward, that this is what we're going to do. Then that will tell him to start spending money to build roads. Then once those roads are built and we are satisfied that they are up to city standards, we can then approve the final plat and accept the roads. Really, it's whatever you'd like to do, sir.
And going back to what you said, if this meets, if preliminary meets,
We have no discretion.
Whether there's a resident that has a concern about DEQ overflow or any of that, that's not for our discretion.
It's a case of the Supreme Court in 1978, Kelly versus the City of Bethany. Plat approval is mechanical. If we deny plat that complies with zoning regulations and subdivision regulations, a lawsuit would be filed and we would be forced to approve the plat.
that being said.
Curtis Woods, 328 East Carl Albert Parkway, McAllister. So the only thing I would like to add, I believe, and obviously let's have questions, but is that what Jamie said, we still have to, we're putting in the sewer, we're putting in the, water, et cetera. All those require permits. The stormwater, the DEQ, all that, we need permits. So whether this is approved or not approved, we can't turn dirt, we can't build roads, we can't do sewer, we can't do anything until there are all these other approvals and permits that are issued. I mean, that's,
Where does the stormwater flow? I know that was one big concern. There's gonna be a couple of retention ponds, and then where does it go from there?
so that's where it has to end. And I think Jamie or somebody mentioned it, the amount of water coming off the property has to be exactly the same as before. And McAllister is a big stickler for that. And obviously, you know, different, well, not to get into different water issues, but you know, someone mentioned some of the other developments that we're doing. That was the most difficult part to get approved on, is how much water is coming onto the property before and how much is, you know, or how much is leaving the property before and how much is leaving the property after. You actually said in some of those things.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So yes, there's a lot of things that we still have to get approval on before anything happens.
Have you all looked at traffic flows and where those roads sit as far as topography and?
Yes, I mean, I understand, I mean, one, I never mentioned anything about stop signs. Obviously, that's not, I don't have any sort of authority to put stop signs anywhere. But, now, obviously, that's one of the best roads in this area, and I guess now we understand it came from federal money. But yes, I mean, that, handling the traffic counts, handling all of that, there's not gonna be an issue from that standpoint with that road. Now, again, there will have to be approvals as far as, because the city's not gonna allow us to do anything that puts people in harm's way, open us up for any sort of, anyone being injured, you know, specific to ice storms. I have no idea, I don't drive that road. I haven't driven that road in inclement weather, so, I mean, obviously, there's other things that may need to be, you know, do we make that a priority road to salt during, I don't know, so I can't really speak to some of those comments.
How does that play into following all the subdivision regulations as far as where the road would intersect with?
So if the city, upon approval of the final plat, the roads become public roads, they become our responsibility. Traditionally, a preliminary plat is done, the developer builds the roads, and then asks for a final plat approval so the city can go out and inspect them, they have met city standards, and the city assumes responsibility. Because they don't exist, and I certainly understand why the developer would not want to build roads until tonight, that certainly makes sense. That's why the preliminary plat process exists, so he knows he's more or less got the green light, can build the plat, build the subdivision to the regulations, and the city can finally accept the roads. I'm hesitant to, I encourage the city not to approve the final plat. That does not include some embossment that the roads and their infrastructure are not the city's responsibility. Because I know you're a good developer, I have no doubt you'll do it right, but I can't guarantee that I can't accept roads that don't exist.
Right, and that's obviously a fair way to move forward, but we do have to move forward. But I will also say, we're not gonna snap our fingers and 200 houses are gonna exist. There is gonna be a ramp up, and yes, October 6th, we begin to, you know, development on some of the retail. That's gonna happen well in advance of any of this, so this will be a gradual, there will be a stepped process, but yeah, we're gonna, yes, there won't be 200 houses overnight.
So on your first phase on the housing, what is your projected start? You're gonna do, say, 10 homes to start with. What is your projected number to start with?
Yes,
The market's
there's
gonna drive-
25, well, there's 25 homes in what we would consider phase one. However, you're gonna start with 10, 15.
Yeah.
Because again, the market is going to tell us, the market's gonna tell us what size homes, how fast. It doesn't do us any good to build 200 homes if McAllister doesn't want 200 homes, meaning consumers. Because like we've said before, you know, McAllister's gonna be a better community with more homeowners. The goal here is to have more homeowners. And we know there is a demand for housing, you know, and maybe it is, you know, $500,000 homes, you know, instead of, you know, 15, 16, 1,800 square foot homes. But, I mean, our analysis, our numbers, we think we're building the homes that McAllister needs.
How will the street phasing go along with that? If he's gonna face housing 10 or 15 at a time, does the home development have to be, the streets have to be completed?
So we could reduce the plat into, this is where the final plat is, having the final plat tonight is a little unorthodox compared to state law practice. You would have the preliminary plat, and then you could have final plats done in phase 1 final plat, phase 2 final plat. Because once we approve the final plat, once we emboss the roads on our property, they become our property, which exists.
You have to build this complete subdivision.
You would not have
or
to, no.
streets at one time.
If this was a preliminary plat, approve it, no problem, and then we would do the final plat as that occurs, be phase 1, phase 2, and so on.
Which McAllister is very specific in this road, this way, you know, there's a lot of guidance.
Was part of your question too of, say there's 40 houses on this road, they're gonna build 10, can they build 200 feet of road?
Right, yes.
And then add another 200 feet of
Right,
road, then add
exactly,
another
yeah.
200 feet of road,
Sure.
or does?
We could
or does-
piecemeal acceptance of the roads, so if we approve the final plat tonight as presented, we're gonna emboss it, they're not public roads. As he builds, say, road A, we could accept road A, and as he builds road B, we can accept road B. But each of those individual roads that we accept have to be up to city standards. They'll just develop, no doubt they would be.
And the residents around it won't see a mile and a half of undeveloped, there won't be streets out there without homes on them.
They could be, that's up to the developer.
But it doesn't do anybody any good to invest a lot of money and have it sit idle.
So,
You already answered one of my questions, but it was gonna be, this could be market driven. You say, hey, we wanna build 400 homes. You get 10 into it and you're like, well, we gotta have bigger yards. We better scale this down to 300 homes. You go, well, we better have bigger yards. We better scale this down to 250 homes. You know what I mean? Or you go,
It doesn't make sense to
Yeah.
do anything other than that. Obviously, you can do all your research, you can do all your studies, pay this money for some expert in Dallas to tell us, here's how many homes you need. However, when homes are actually, any real estate agent, I'm sure, I'm not one of those, but I'm sure they'll tell you that, the market's gonna tell you the homes you need.
yeah. And I assume as you're working with an agent, you're gonna go, okay, I've got 1,300 square foot homes, and they're gonna go, hey, everybody that's coming to my office is looking for 15 to 18. And then you're gonna change your plan, or, hey, I'm getting people who are retired, they want no yard to maintain, so you'll go, okay, well, I need to make smaller yards. You're going, hey, I've got young families with 3 kids moving in here, they want bigger yards, and you'll play to the market on that level.
Right. If you have $500,000 homes that aren't being seen, and no one's even scheduled showings, you probably don't wanna build more $500,000 homes.
Absolutely. Can we approve this as a preliminary, since our item is approved final?
With the approval of the developer, I think so, because that certainly would be a less restrictive matter.
I would definitely rather go with the preliminary version.
I think that would be better for you, this way you know council is on board with this. Because also, if you talk about scaling down, let's say the market conditions require a scale down, that might require a change in the plat. Once the final plat is approved, that's an actual district court, not an action here. So preliminary plat would probably be better for you, so that as you do develop, you then bring forward final plat for phase 1, the wall is better. We change that, we can keep changing that as we go to phase 2, phase 3, and so on.
Now with the preliminary also, does that give us more availability to talk about where
Categorically.
the roads come in and we can look at traffic flows?
The purpose of the preliminary plat is to give the subtle nod to the developer that this is moving forward, the city is on board, but it doesn't bind him the way a final plat does. 'Cause once the final plat is approved, that changes the legal description. It stops being the north half is not one block. That can only be changed with the district court's approval.
So with the preliminary plat, he can move forward with the roads,
Okay.
and the utilities and stuff like that.
Category.
However, I really feel like our ordinances are lacking in this because it's kind of how we got here.
This is an unusual process, certainly deviation from state process.
So, the only thing that I have concern with is that as far as building permitting goes, because we cannot permit as it's one parcel, we would have to. So if he builds the utilities and the roads, and then come back for the final plat, and then he can start building under building permits, because until those are separated in separate plots, we could not.
Presumptively, these would be spec homes in the beginning. So what could happen is, he could build a small portion of a road, ask for phase one, a final plat, and if he thinks they're gonna be X lot wide, X by X size. Then you can issue a building permit for that final platted area. That doesn't bind him to the rest of the area the way a final plat would. But the preliminary plat tells him we are on board with the plan, proceed with the roads, and then bring a final plat on, for that area that you feel is appropriate and ready to be built upon. Does that make sense?
I'll follow your guidance
Okay.
very closely.
Do you have any issue visiting with our streets department
No.
about that hill and just making
No,
sure that
no.
there's not a major issue there?
No, I think we all have the same goal in mind with that. I just, again, it wasn't anything I was aware of. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Any further questions for Mr. Wood? All right, appreciate it. Did you have one more?
I had one more comment, yeah.
If you'll come up.
Yeah. So in previous conversation, we talked about, they were talking about phase one being on the southerly, border of that property, right at city limit. So that would mean that the worst possible road is gonna be intersecting, Peaceable First. So, which is the biggest safety concern possible, cause it's per the plat, if you look at it, it's just, all those houses are gonna be built on that fence line, which you mentioned in phase one, and that road is gonna be the one that's the biggest concern possible.
Well, that's what I asked him to get with our streets department and make sure, and that's why we didn't want to approve as a final plat.
I understand, but, I mean, unless it's changed, there's not, I know I'm not an expert in that, but I've been driving that hill for 61 minus 16. So, do the math, and I looked at it as I was coming in, you cannot see a road that comes out where that's supposed to be located. You just cannot. And by the time you cross that hill, you're already in that car. So I would ask that they maybe consider doing phase one on the north side and not on the south side, so that at least we have a chance to preserve safety, while they see about how this is gonna go for them. And the other thing was about the retention ponds. If they fill up, where does the water go?
It's not gonna happen,
Really? Curtis. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, you're good. But they just can't hear us at home when we're not on the mic.
Yeah.
Typically, correct me if I'm wrong, the way the retention ponds, is they drain at the bottom, and so it slows the flow. So when you have those heavy downpours that are coming, you have an even flow on the backside, and when it quits raining, they continue to flow out.
But it's gonna flow out into the land to the south, correct? Not into the sewer.
It would not go into the city sewer system.
So it's gonna drain out to the land to the south, which is, yeah.
Well, that I don't know. I don't know what the topography and how it's.
Topography there on the southern edge, it's gonna go drain.
Yeah,
So,
depending
I don't
on-
know about the northern.
Depending on curbing and storm sewer,
Yeah.
are you gonna have storm sewer over there? Do you know? Okay. Okay, it'll be city street, so it'll have storm sewer.
Okay, well, our biggest concern then is where is phase one gonna be? And I think trying something out there and doing it in a phasing approach, putting it on the southern edge is the very worst possible place you could put it. Cause that's where we're gonna have the accidents.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like to speak?
Yeah. Matthew Leeper, 42 Leeper Lane. One of the concerns if this is approved is on Peaceful Road. You're looking to put first-time home buyers, retirement age, want to downsize. The young are going to be walking and the elderly will be walking. And my my fear is them getting on Peaceful Road. There is not room. You've got people hauling hay, you've got cattle, trailers, coming back and forth. And they're gonna go to Peaceful Road walk. Now, are you looking to put sidewalks on Peaceful Road? Are you looking to put a turn lane on, from Peaceful Road into the development? That's my concern. Somebody getting hit, a child getting hit. I don't want that. And I don't think anybody here wants it. So that is my concern.
Those items will be required by the city subdivision regulations.
On Peaceful Road? Not inside the development, but on Peaceful Road.
To the extent that's affected, yes, sir.
Okay,
If the city code requires that, yes, sir.
okay.
Oh, it does require.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, so the motion,
For approval of a preliminary plat.
so, the motion would be for approval of a preliminary plat, not a final plat. Motion Counselor Stone, second Counselor Beatty. Cora, would you call the roll?
Counselor Stone,
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Woodley,
Yes.
Boatright,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, and the motion carries. Any new business? No? Okay. Staff reports, we have Mr. Ray, Supervisor for UTM.
Hello, please excuse me, this is totally out of my element, I'm more comfortable in the mud. I even took a bath from up here. So,
Whose idea was this? Ken's idea? Does he get the blame?
I'm not gonna blame anybody, maybe that one right there. Again, like I said, my name is Johnny Reich. I am the utility maintenance supervisor. I took the position 2 years ago, May of 23, and I was asked to take this position by some, mainly due because of a lot of issues that we were having with the UTM department, costs. With that being said, I was given the opportunity to pick two fellow foremans, Chad Kelly and Johnny Zell, which have been tremendous in turning everything around. And we had a broken system, and it took us a little while, but we were working on, 2 years later, we're still working on getting it fixed. We had overtime problems, cost problems, equipment maintenance problems, facility maintenance problems, and just poor time management. And giving credit to everybody that is in this department is the true measure of how we are doing as well as we are now. Whenever I took this position, there was 256 open work orders, and I only went back 2 years, and immediately made a folder, had every one of them printed out. Chad, John, and I would come up with a plan to start knocking these out, and it took about 4 months, and we dwindled them down a little bit to the point to where now we work on the day-to-day calls that come in, and they do come in, but we stay on top of them. These guys are excellent at time management, getting the right people on the right jobs. We changed the work schedule from the 7 to 3 that they were working to the business hours of 8 to 5. What I found was a majority of this average of 65 hours of overtime a week was right there at the 3 to 5, because people don't quit calling until they quit answering. At that point, it's the emergency line has to be called. So that prevented a lot of that. I believe the first pay period after we implemented this, it went from 65 hours a week down to, I think, 7 to 15 one week, and it went down tremendously. It was great. We created a system that broke down all the types of calls, if they were emergency versus something that could be added to a priority list. Who and when and where this would be handled, what parts we needed, try to get everything lined out beforehand so we're not chasing our tails trying to find something. Which that's another part of that was we started a stocking parts instead of just trying to buy them as we need them. That helped us not only with calls at night where we had to call a guy in, wait on him to come open the store, get charged $100 to come out of the middle of the night, to just going and getting our parts out of a part room. It also saved probably, I would estimate, around $2,000 a month just in the overcost for the same parts. We, the UTM foremans monitored and helped with each of the projects, ensured all the time efficiency, which means they didn't just point and say, they were actively a part of all of this, leading and guiding these guys. We changed all the on-call process. We made it to where instead of just getting phone calls and having to go out and check these calls, and at first it was get a call with sending guys. We learned that didn't work. So at first I was taking all the calls and checking them out myself before anybody was called, but then we implemented with the help of the non-emergency and dispatchers to start asking questions of, is this really an emergency? Is it tearing anything up? Is anybody gonna get hurt? And we took names and addresses of people. So that diminished a lot of those unnecessary calls. These issues helped. These issues all helped put UTM back on track. Over this time, we had many improvements, such as having the UTM shop redone. I don't know if any of y'all have ever been out to the Hereford Lane shop, but I don't know how it was really standing with the metal that was on it. We got that all completely reskinned, roof, walls, and it's insulated. It's actually nice. I could actually sleep in there tonight if I had to. We still need some things. Our major item on that list would be a flush truck with a hydrovac. If we are down on ours, it's terrible. That flush truck helps us suck out packed manholes. It helps us hydrovac around major utilities. Hitting a 4-inch gas line was never anybody's favorite thing to do. This helps eliminate that. And I will say that whenever we brought this up 2 years ago, the flush trucks were around $450 to $500, and now they're about $650 to $675. So I can only imagine that going up as time goes by. As far as projects and things that have happened, that have been done, things that are planned, I would like to know we are a maintenance department, and we are not equipped as a construction company, so I can't razzle and dazzle you, but we got 500 miles of pipe to do, unfortunately. But I can tell you that we keep up with everything that we have going on, and with our infrastructure being as old as it is in most parts of the city, we're talking old, not boat ride old, but old. Just kidding. So old that whenever we dig these up, just disturbing the ground will pop holes from the weak spots in these steel lines and transit lines. And I've even seen wood lines, not active of course, but I have seen them. But as far as what we have done that could constitute as what a construction company would do is we have laid like full blocks of sewer line, repairing sewer line, and 300 foot, I think at Elm Street, we did an alleyway over there, 340 foot at 5th and Wichita. We did 200 foot at Jefferson and Monroe, 260 foot at 2nd and Harrison, 120 foot at 8th and Washington. And as far as water lines, we did 100 foot, 6-inch water line at Weston Adams, 650 foot of 2-inch poly at Main Street from Ridge Street to the south, 300 foot of 2-inch poly, 7th Street, Cherokee, 350 foot of 2-inch poly at 2nd to Kiowa. And I could come up with more to add to that list, but just that, I just say that just to let you know that these guys go above and beyond the call of duty, and they get to work every morning and they're ready to do their job. And for the most part, believe it or not, it takes telling them to leave. Like, you know, this can be tomorrow. We can do this. Yeah, I know overtime's a little bit of a part of wanting to stay, but these guys are hardworking guys and they know what they're doing. We go through a lot of guys because of the type of work that we do, and we have retained good ones. We've lost some good ones, but we've retained some good ones. So just know that the water and sewer never gets thought about, talked about until something goes wrong. And if you picture it all as like a tall, clear glass of water, that one thing that goes wrong is like somebody spitting in that glass. Nobody wants to drink it now, but somebody walks along and they're really thirsty, they didn't see that, they'll drink that glass of water because it's still crystal clear water. Just reiterate that this is a team. These guys are a team. I'm at the bottom of that team, and we have good leaders. We maintain the equipment that we have. It's old, but we maintain it. We take care of what we have, and anything that we do receive, we promise to make it last as long as we possibly can. So if you guys have any questions for me, I'll be glad to answer them if I have the answer.
For everybody that doesn't know, will you say what UTM is and what all you cover?
Utility maintenance is maintenance of all water and sewer lines. We do everything from manholes, sewer manholes, sewer lines, repairing water breaks. And when I say repairing water breaks, I don't know if anybody's ever drove by and seen a rooster tail 50 foot in the air. A lot of times we can't even shut those off. We have to get down in the hole with that water blaring like that and fix that with the water blasting us. And I've personally been out there in 12-degree weather doing that, and it's not fun. So we do take care of all the water and sewer maintenance, and we help wherever we can. You know, we try to help the meter readers on their meter installs. Anything over 1 inch, we usually take care of all of that on the meters. Do sewer taps, or not sewer taps, but water taps for everything. Anything that comes in, whether it's 1 inch all the way up to 4-inch. We'll take care of that. But the main thing is we keep it flowing, whether it's water and sewer. And we don't want it flowing on the ground, we want it flowing through the pipe. So as long as we're doing that, we're doing good.
So is that your team I've got video of neck deep over at the hospital swimming?
Yes. And I wasn't on that one. I wasn't. I was out of town, and I believe Lucky Utilities Director was there.
Lucky was down in the mud with them. And literally when you say down in the mud.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's a video I would honestly like to show here because I don't know that people understand. You're not out there on a backhoe just digging and messing around. And when we have those cold weather breaks, you're literally 12 degrees outside. You're in the water up to your neck, sometimes going underwater trying to get those clamps.
And the water's the fun part. It's when you're neck deep in sewer.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I've got some stories on that. And I'm happy to give the glory where the glory is due on that one. But what I did tell Lucky on that was, this is, getting some clout around here. What people don't realize is this is almost like a day in the office. Honestly, I mean, we don't have 12-inch breaks every day, but it's not abnormal for us to have those. And particularly right by the hospital makes it even more noticeable, and I understand that. But the guys are rock stars because you never hear about them. And the few times that you do, like I said, that's spit in the glass. Those little comments, they don't mean nothing to me.
But I think what everybody has to remember too, when we had the catastrophic pump failure at the plant.
That was a week before I started this, and I was supposed to have that week as transition moving my office, and I was out there.
That's how we do it here. But all that being said, I mean, we had a catastrophic pump failure at the plant, and for our team to manufacture on the fly a flange and come up with the idea to sanitize a fire truck and use that to pump water to, I mean, I don't know how much, but 90% of the city, everybody that except on top of a hill had some kind of trickle of water to be able to flush a toilet. That you all did, that was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it was.
I was very impressed.
Big team effort, and I've got to give props to Crash, our vehicle maintenance supervisor over there. He's the one that actually built that flange.
Really? Excellent.
Johnny, before you leave.
Sorry about the
You mentioned you mentioned earlier about employees. You've lost some good employees.
Yes, sir.
Is that because of what reason is that because of? Pay or working conditions, or is it something that we can help you with?
Well, it always boils down to pay. These guys, they know what they're getting into on the working conditions. As a matter of fact, they'll go in the same working conditions for somebody else that just pays more money. The unfortunate part of that is some of these guys can't be replaced with 2 or 3 other guys that we can hire off the street. So technically, we're spending a lot more money on 3 more wages for 3 more people. But that's the main thing that I've had to deal with, and our hands are really tied on that. I would say, like I said, the working conditions, they're everywhere that they go, so that's not a problem. Our equipment, I would say that really doesn't play a whole lot in it. And the hours don't play a whole lot in it. They would probably enjoy to have a lot more hours. And I'll be happy to give them to them if we had the money to do that. First off, that the truth of the matter is we have managed to keep the maintenance down to a point to where we don't have a whole lot of that, except for, it's instances like that happening on a.
So when you get somebody, you get them trained, somebody comes and steals them and pays them more money.
It's kind of aggravating, but hey, you can't blame somebody.
I understand.
Can't blame.
But I'm just saying that, we may need to look into that at one time or soon.
Yeah.
So we can keep people.
Yeah.
That's our problem is we get people trained and then they're gone, somebody else paying them more money.
Yeah, and I have been told in the past by one excellent his first year raise was, I think it was 10 cents. So it's almost better to say we're not giving raises than to give somebody that,
Yeah.
it's like a kick in the pants. But yeah, that's the main issue. But I also wanted to say, I forgot, one thing that, our water treatment plant just got an award, of course, but we found that a lot of the breaks that we were having over the past years before we took over was pressure related. And through some calculations and looking at 2 years of graphing and seeing where every major break on any of these 24-inch lines, 18-inch lines took place, we saw that the pressure was over 115 pounds at the plant. So we made it kind of the standard, and these guys have run with it, and they keep that pressure below 115 pounds, and it has stopped a lot of those Sunday nights. That was very normal to happen with the way things used to be run. The pressure spikes, the way that our high pressure side and low pressure side work. The KFC pump pulls off of the low pressure into the Carl Albert Tower, and the high pressure side, when that pump shuts off, that's an automatic 10 pounds of increase on the low pressure side. So it's like a spike, and the way that they had it running before was on an auto. So when it filled up, it just shut off, and then it'd go down a foot, come on, shut off. It was doing, it was just hammering these lines. So that's another thing I wanted to add with that, was kudos to the water treatment guys. They're not just making good water, they're actually helping us out a lot in the field.
The new pumps, have they started being installed yet at the water plant?
Well, I'm pretty ignorant on the steps and where they're at on all of that out there.
One and four, I think, are in. I was out there last week.
Okay.
I think 1 and 4 are in, and 2 and 3 are scheduled. They're still working on the VFD part of it.
Yeah. I was just gonna, with the hydraulic ramming, that was a big issue we were
Yeah.
trying to solve, so.
Yeah, and that will help tremendously, being able to slowly go up, and yeah. This will be great.
Any other questions?
I just wanna say, these guys do yeoman's work every day. They get the calls and they go out at night. Tell them what time they got finished on the Labor Day weekend, that hospital break.
I think it was 3 o'clock in the morning.
3:39 is what I got the final text. That they were out there from Sunday afternoon till Monday morning. And I saw the pictures. Lucky was neck deep in water. All those guys were out there. So they do yeoman's work.
And it wasn't 105 outside that day either. It had dropped into the 70s.
Yeah, yeah.
Wasn't refreshing.
That's still a summer day compared to 12
Yeah.
True.
I wanna thank you for the job you do and how well you take care of it.
Well, thank you. And
We as council appreciate that.
It's the team. I'm telling you, it's the team. If I go tomorrow, y'all won't even know the difference. That's how good these guys are, so.
That's what we
Thank you.
like.
Please tell them how much we appreciate them and
Will
everything
do.
they do.
Will do. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Enter city manager's report.
Yeah, the manager's report here is part of your package, but a couple things I wanted to highlight. The TIF district, I heard Curtis talk about it earlier, is breaking ground on the 6th of October for the academy. So I think that will be the first groundbreaking of the number 2 TIF district. The airport terminal is complete. The grand opening is currently set for Friday the 24th. That will be a VIP event, and then we will have a citywide open house on the 25th. We're trying to set up like a fly-in pancake breakfast for pilots that want to come in early and park the airplane. We're going to invite the public out to walk around and talk to the airplane pilots and pet the airplanes and stuff that they do. Sorry, my military background, we used to call it petting zoo. It's kind of pretty cool. And then the one thing that's not in your report that came, I got an email from a contractor who highlighted one of our employees. And the comments were extremely positive about his professionalism and what he provided to the contractor. Today, I actually took it upon myself myself and gave that individual a letter of appreciation from me. And I did it in front of a lot of the employees that were here in the city hall at the time. But that's the kind of thing that I think all of the directors are trying to search for, is to how to get their people to interact with the public in a positive and professional manner. So we can kind of show that the city is working towards making things better. Just want to share that.
Thank you. All right, remarks and inquiries by the city council, Councilor. Woodley?
No,
Sorry, I got a head shake there and I was moving on.
Just kidding. Just grateful to get a chance to talk about the advisory panel that's coming for the community tonight. I'm excited about that. Levi expressed it perfectly. We have a lot of great resources and we have a huge need, but we have also a lot of opportunity to help with that need. I'm looking forward to that and appreciate the work that he was just explaining. Those guys, they take it for the team. I appreciate that.
Stomach?
Citywide cleanup coming up pretty soon. It's a citywide yard sale this weekend. I believe so. And always look at travelmcallister.com to see what else is going on. There's lots of stuff. So.
It's like download that app and I don't even say anything now.
Absolutely. Yeah. There you go.
All right.
No, I don't have anything.
Baby? All right. Let's see, mayor's comments. Want to thank Chief Batten for taking the time. We did a tour at the airport, tour at the library, got to visit City Hall, and coming and just being a part of showcasing that partnership that we have. I mean, I know just within 2 projects, I think it was over $2 million the Choctaw Nation has given to the city in the library and different things on. So amazing that we have those kind of relationships and that we can continue to build that. For anybody that needs to go see Beetlejuice, Community Theater, or Beetlejuice Jr., really knocked it out. It was a fun show. If you all aren't catching those shows on a regular, they're putting together some really good stuff. Home game this Friday, and then I know we have a band competition, I think in Yukon on Saturday. I saw Kelly White. I didn't get to call her out earlier. I was hoping she'd still be here. She's one of my go-tos. When I see somebody that needs help, I reach out to Kelly and her team at Command 918 are really good to do that. So I have to text her and tell her to go back and watch. I was trying to gig her while she was here. All right, with that, we will convene. I'll take a motion to convene as the McAllister Airport Authority. Motion to include approval of minutes from September 9th, 2025, regular meeting of the McAllister Airport Authority. Firm action taken on City Council Agenda Item B and adjourn. Motion, Councilor Gilmore, second Councilor Beatty. Cora, would you call the roll?
Councilor Gilmore?
Yes.
Beatty?
Yes.
Boatright?
Yes.
Woodley?
Yes.
Stone?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes, the motion carries. I'll take a motion to convene at the McAllister Public Works Authority. Approval of minutes from September 9th, 2025, regular meeting of the McAllister Public Works Authority. Confirm action taken on City Council Agenda Item B and adjourn. Motion, Councilor Stone, second Councilor Boatright. Cora, would you call the roll?
Councilor Stone?
Yes.
Boatright?
Yes.
Gilmore?
Yes.
Woodley?
Yes.
Beatty?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes, the motion carries. Now take a motion to convene as McAllister Retirement Trust Authority. Motion to include approval of minutes from August 26, 2025, regular meeting of McAllister Retirement Trust Authority and approval of retirement benefit payments for September 1st, 2025 and adjourn. Motion, Councilor Gilmore, second Councilor Boatright. Cora, would you call the roll?
Councilor Gilmore?
Yes.
Boatright?
Yes.
Woodley?
Yes.
Stone?
Yes.
Beatty?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes, the motion carries. Now take a motion to convene as McAllister Economic Development Authority. Motion to include approval of minutes from September 9th, 2025, regular meeting of McAllister Economic Development Authority and confirm action taken on City Council Agenda Item B and adjourn. Motion, Councilor Boatright, second Councilor Beatty. Thank you. Everybody's done at this point. Cora, would you call the roll?
Councilor Boatright?
Yes.
Beatty?
Yes.
Woodley?
Yes.
Stone?
Yes.
Gilmore?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes, and the motion carries. Now take a motion to go into executive session in compliance with section title 25, 307B4. We have 2 items to discuss, EEO investigative attorney and then consider, then opioid litigation. so I'll take a motion being enter into executive session. Motion Counselor Beatty, second Counselor Boatright. Corge, call the roll.
Vice Mayor Beatty?
Yes.
Councilor Boatright?
Yes.
Woodley?
Yes.
Stone?
Yes.
Gilmore?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes, so the motion carries. Can we do executive session in here, since everybody's got cleared up? All right, it's 8:28. We are now back from executive session. Only those items as listed were discussed. No polls or votes were taken. So you want to reiterate our
Yes.
first motion?
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, thank you for your time and attention to the executive session tonight. Regarding item 1, while no votes were taken or polls cast, I do believe an appropriate motion would be to authorize the city attorney to employ an outside counsel to conduct an EEOC investigation.
I have a motion to approve. Motion Counselor Gilmore, second Counselor Boatright. Corge, you call the roll.
Councilor Gilmore?
Yes.
Boatright?
Yes.
Stone?
Yes.
Beatty?
Yes.
Woodley?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes, the motion carries.
Item number 2, council, again, no votes were taken or polls cast. However, at this time, I do believe an appropriate motion would be to authorize the city manager to participate in the Attorney General's opioid litigation settlement fund.
Good. We have a motion. Motion Counselor Stone, second Counselor Boatright. Corge, call the roll.
Councilor Stone?
Yes.
Boatright?
Yes.
Beatty?
Yes.
Gilmore?
Yes.
Woodley?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes, the motion carries. Reminds you to help us control the pet population. Please have your pets spayed or neutered, and we are adjourned.